Hello and happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Women's Revolution podcast. It's lovely to have you here. If you are joining live or on the replay, welcome. And today it's me, Carla, Divina, and Gita. We are missing our lovely friend Kelly. She wasn't able to join us today, but she's here with us because she left us some of her thoughts as well that we will share. And we today we are talking about aging with confidence. And I personally relate to this. I'm turning 52 this year, a lovely, beautiful age. And there has been over the years a lot of conversations around what aging looks like, the beauty side of aging, the external, the internal, and all the conflicts we have around aging with being still beautiful, still feeling comfortable with our bodies, with ourselves as women. And it's a very important topic, and we had some requests to talk about it. So we are going to talk about this, about our own personal stories and share some stories as well. And we invite everyone, if you want to comment, we would love to hear your thoughts and perspectives. If you don't feel comfortable commenting, please email us directly and we will get back to you for sure. We will reply. So let's start. And as usual, we will start with a bit of grounding because it's Friday, busy morning with work, and we just want to be here, be present. So I will invite Divina to ground us for a few moments.
Alright. So if it feels safe and comfortable to do so, you can lower your gaze or close your eyes. And I'm just going to do some deep breaths. I've had a really good, productive, but yet busy morning. So I appreciate this pause. I did meditate this morning, but I could do with this pause now as well. And you can just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can have your feet flat on the floor, and whatever you're sitting on, the sofa, the chair, just feel supported by it, and really just take some really nice, slow, deep breaths and just feel present in this moment. You can relax your shoulders. You can unclench your stomach. We sometimes don't even realize we're doing that, but we can kind of hold our stomachs in, especially women. So just feel that you can relax that. You can relax your hips. And if you feel like you want to move your wrists or your ankles, it's kind of feeling like what you need just in these very short few moments. When that feels good, you can open your eyes and we can go. You might want to stretch.
Beautiful. Thank you. I really needed that as well. Had a busy morning, busy working morning. So it's really good to be able to stop for a second. So let's start. And one good way to start, and I know Gita, you've prepared for this, is trying to understand the actual definition of aging. What actually is aging? Gita, do you want to share what you've discovered in terms of this definition?
Yeah, I was just looking around for a definition because quite often when we talk about aging, beauty can often come into it. And I really wanted to understand the difference or the crossover, actually the connection. And so aging, I'm just going to read this out. It says it refers to the natural process of growing older, marked by physical, psychological, and social changes over time. It encompasses biological changes such as wrinkles, grey hair, and decreased mobility, as well as psychological shifts in perspectives, attitudes, and wisdom gained through life experience. And I love that last bit, wisdom. gain through life experience.
Mm.
And then beauty, on the other hand, is a multifaceted concept that goes beyond physical appearance, which I was glad to read. It encompasses qualities such as kindness, authenticity, compassion, resilience, and inner strength. Beauty is subjective and can be found in various forms, including nature, art, relationships, and personal characteristics. So that was my finding on those two.
It's
I
interesting
love
because my
it.
finding was different.
Mm.
See, I like your finding more than my finding.
Really?
Because I think that was really nice. I loved at first with the aging part. I thought this sounds quite negative, and then it had
Yeah,
that last line about wisdom. I was like, great.
yeah.
And then the beauty sounds really good, but the definition that Google gave to me when I looked was the beauty, a combination of qualities such as shape, color, and form that pleases the aesthetics, especially the sight.
Oh.
Oh,
But I think that's
interesting.
quite the what I if we did a poll, I wonder how many would
Mm,
actually veer more towards that definition of beauty.
yeah,
That'd be really
mm,
interesting, actually.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the perception, right? When we talk
Right.
about beauty, is the aesthetics, how things look
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
externally. But I do love the definition you found, Gita, and the
yeah,
connection there is in that definition with the aging, right?
Mm.
Because it encompasses the part of the social changes as well, the physiological changes, but the social changes as well,
Yeah.
which I find fascinating. Yeah, really interesting. And
yeah.
I'm curious to ask you, and then I can share my experience as well. When did you actually started to pay attention to aging?
Mm. You can go,
Um,
Geeta.
this is such
Yeah.
an interesting one. Um, I think it started actually in my 30s. I'm going to be
Mm.
48 this year. So, over 10 years ago, longer. And I think it's because in my family, I have women who are, older than me. Like I've got siblings, cousins, all sorts. So I've almost had this view of what could be the possibilities, be that in a positive or not so positive way. So it's like someone's given me this like path of like, well, it could be this for you, or it could be this. So I've really appreciated that. And at certain points, had those, made those decisions. But I think it really came to me when my mum was unwell, and she wasn't really very old. She's in her 60s. And I
Mm,
think that's when it really hit home. And I was like, this is no age at all, really.
mm,
So for me, a big part of aging has always been around health and well-being, which is why I think I veered into that direction in terms of, the work I've been doing, and even with coaching, there's a big focus on health and well-being. And one of the strap lines from on my business is glow from within. But it's not just about, people when they say, "Oh, you look really well. Like, how are you?" Like what you're doing. It's not what I'm doing on the outside. It's not this stuff. It's how I'm taking care of myself from the inside that the glow comes. That's how I feel anyway. That's been my experience. So yeah, it's
Yes,
been
and
it's been around for a while. Yeah.
let me just share a comment that we have of someone that
Mm.
joined us. Thank you for commenting. I'm 60 and I've always found interesting every year I don't feel old.
mm,
Amazing. Oh,
mm.
and to share, Margaret.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah, and it's true. And I really admire that part. I'm 60 and I don't feel old. Amazing. And congratulations to you. Margaret is actually a very good friend of mine. We know each other for about how many years? I don't even remember. many, probably more than 30,
Oh.
35 maybe. And we have been in the journey together, and we talk many times about aging and in my situation, I've noticed an evolution, and I've noticed that when I was younger, I was worried about the beauty part, but that definition that you found, Divina, more how I looked externally. And
Mm.
what I've noticed over the years, and probably similar as you, around the 30s, 40s, I moved more to the health part and the well-being, being healthy
Mm.
became my priority, and believe that I'm healthy. Really have that belief I'm healthy, I will be fine. Aging will come, and I will be fine. The exterior part, the looks, they don't matter to me. And I decided at some point I'm not going to paint my hair anymore because it's really bad for me. So about 4 years ago, I decided not painting it anymore. It doesn't mean that I won't do it again if I start to get very white in my hair. For now, it's fine. But it's just some simple and small things. And I got the example from my mom.
Mm.
My mom is amazing in the way she's aging. She's happy. She accepts it. The wrinkle, everything. And she's in such a shape that I really admire. And I always say, when I grow up, I will be like my mom.
Beautiful.
Love
It's
that.
such a privilege. I think that's what's come for me, is that it's a privilege because, I lost my parents when they were both in their 60s. And so I think actually just reflecting on what I shared and hearing you, it is an absolute privilege. So yeah, Davina.
Yeah, so I'm going to be 38 this year. And I've never worried about aging, like never. And I don't know if I'm the youngest. So I don't know if that's just because all the other women before me still look 30. So I think that maybe that's why I don't worry. But I, I don't even really think it's been like a conversation that we've ever spoken about, or like in the family. Aging has just not been. I kind of look forward to it. Like I can't wait till I'm 40. Like I'm really looking forward to being 40 because, and especially now, like with the journey that I'm on, because the wisdom is just coming like
Mm.
tenfold. So for me, I'm thinking, gosh, when I'm 40, like I'm gonna be like a smoke show. Like it's so hard. So I really look forward to aging. Like my sister, she's gonna be 50 this year. Like literally, we were just talking last night. She's been to, I think, 4 countries already this year. Like she's just living her life, traveling. She looks 30. She's just looks great. And so for me, to me it just seems like more life. Like the older I get, the better life is gonna get. That's for me, that's kind of how I see it. And I think probably because um I like myself a lot now too. So I just know I'm gonna like myself even more. Um as the years go on. And I guess maybe in my 20s, when I was more unsure of myself, like when people say, "Oh, would you go back to those years?" Like I wouldn't. Like I wouldn't. Like those aren't my best years. Like my best years are like the ones I'm having now, and then I think they're going to be the ones to come because the more in love I fall with myself, like I can only see it's going to get better as I age. So
Yeah. And I
I
loved what you just said. The more I am in love with myself.
yeah, that's definitely what it is. It feels so much better being more confident in myself, which makes me look forward to as the years go on. Like so, yeah. So aging, and yeah, the saying that black doesn't crack. So maybe that's part of it as well. So we all just look young anyway. It really doesn't. I saw a picture of my auntie the other day. I think she's got to be like coming into her 80s, and honestly, she looks about 50. I mean, it's still. So I think that's probably why I'm not too worried about that side of it. Yeah.
It's lovely. I can't complain either. I had a compliment a few days ago. I said to someone, "Oh, I'm 51 almost, so we'll complete 52 this year." And she said, "What? You look like 45." And I was, "Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes." I accepted the compliment. I did accept
Mm.
it.
And that's interesting as well, isn't it? Like when we receive those kind of compliments, comments about like how we look. So, I've been away
Mm.
recently and I was doing this yoga retreat, and people around me were there's quite a variety of ages, some quite a lot younger. And I was chatting to this couple I made friends with in their mid-30s, and I was, da, da, da. And then when I say, oh, like how old my son is and whatever, and they're like, what, And it's interesting, and I really observe like how it makes me feel. And there is that little part of me that goes, oh, I
Yeah.
don't look this age. And then I'm like wondering, well, what does it matter?
Mhm.
There's that sort of curiosity
Mhm.
with myself about how I respond to
Mhm.
these kind of comments. And where does that come from? Like why are we and I wonder with myself, am I still sort of gripping? Is there something within me that's gripping?
Mhm.
I don't think so. But then when I hear that, why am I like, oh,
Mhm.
what is that about?
Do you know my perspective about it? Is
Please
that
share.
you've learned to accept a compliment. Because
Oh,
one of the things that sometimes we have is that if someone um, gives us a compliment, we feel uncomfortable in accepting it because we don't recognize it and we don't feel comfortable. So we just say, "Oh, thank you," and you as well, and we just give a compliment back.
yeah.
I've learned many, many years ago that it's important to recognize your own strengths, qualities, and when a compliment is given to you, accept it and feel happy by it. So that's my perspective on compliments.
Mhm.
So I
And I
accept them gladly.
and I think there is something about that. It's a gift in itself to accept it. You're gifting someone else by actually just accepting the
Yeah.
compliment and not trying to like bat it off, or when someone says, oh, that's a nice dress, and you go, yeah, it was Primark, £2. You're like they didn't ask that. just say thank you. That's it.
We all do that.
I
I've
don't
stopped doing that
anymore.
as well, though.
I
I don't
don't.
anymore. I don't
No,
anymore. No, I don't
I just go,
anymore.
yeah, it's a great dress, isn't it? Yeah, thanks. Done.
But I suppose the other side of it, that compliment is the part about being young and that being beautiful.
Mm.
So, um, if you are 60 and you look 60, is that okay? What does 60 look like?
Yeah.
Is, so yeah, like making sure, I guess, that we're not chasing youth because
Yes.
what youth is beautiful, so they say. But yeah, so it's 60, 70, 80, 90.
Yeah. And it depends on what is youth, right? Because you can be 60, 70, and or 80 and still just be the youth in yourself and just be younger, much
Yeah.
younger
Mm.
than someone in their 20s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the society norms and pressures around what is aging, how you can age or you should age. But
Mm.
it's individual. I think it's an individual journey as well, and we will all have different journeys. And our experiences, the three of us, are actually positive and good. But I know a lot of people that have huge challenges when they get older and when they start to go to the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and get really overwhelmed and scared of
Mm.
how they will look, all the wrinkles, what will people say, what will society say, will it be much difficult to find a job, for example. And I hear that a lot, that after a
Mm.
certain age there are no jobs for you because they all want younger people to work.
Mm.
um, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you've either someone that you know or people that you work with? What are the biggest challenges that you have seen in terms of the aging part?
I can say not aging, but beauty. Um, as growing up was difficult. I was, I think I was just one of two. I think I was just one of two Black people in school. So beauty was white. It wasn't Black.
Mm,
Beauty was straight hair, not Afro hair.
no. Mm,
So that was a lot of the challenges growing up, was trying to fall in love with yourself when you're not seen anywhere as beautiful. So I remember I think I straightened my hair when I was maybe 12 or 13. My mum didn't want me to do it, but I really wanted straight hair because it would just be easier. It'd be easier. People wouldn't look at my hair or want to touch my hair. I would just be kind of like everybody else. So that was a lot of what it was like growing up, was to conform to what society say is beautiful, and especially when you don't see yourself anywhere else either. So I guess again, when I think about beauty or aging, why I wouldn't go back to like those years for me, because that was so much more challenging than it is now, which is just embracing myself. But it's also really important for me and for my children and my daughter that I do make sure that I put them in spaces where they can see themselves, because that's still something I have to do now. I have to actively do that, whether it's what they watch on TV, the books they read, the places they go. I have to actively make sure that they can see Black people and see themselves, because I've grown up also in a place where Eurocentric look is what's beautiful. So I would say that's one of the biggest challenges for me personally, was not seeing myself anywhere, so therefore not knowing that you're beautiful.
Gita?
Yeah. Just hearing you, Davina, you're a really dear friend of mine. Well, several friends of mine actually, but a couple of my friends are actually doing a lot of work with mixed heritage, and they're both mixed heritage, and they've been sharing stories about their times growing up, and just you speaking and sharing is just making me think of their stories, and the fascination of people had with their hair, like, and also not really quite fitting in with either Black community or white, you know,
Yeah.
where are they accepted? And then, in terms of, what I've witnessed or experienced in terms of aging, a lot of it has come down to the physical ailments that have come with aging, unfortunately, like what I've seen. And that's why it's at the real forefront of my mind, and it's really present. So health and well-being is really at the forefront, because when it's the corny saying, health is your wealth, like, it's true. Like, what, you can have all this money, belongings and everything, what's the point if you don't have well-being? My father became quite unwell in his 50s, and the rest of his life was really debilitating. But it wasn't just for him, it was for the rest of us as well. We were on this journey with him. So, there's a ripple effect to it. And so where I come from is I really want to embrace this journey, because I want to experience the richness of life. I want to share this with my children. I don't, want to be like, oh, I can't do this, I can't go there. I already have some things that are quite limiting. I get vertigo sometimes. So I can't do certain, go to a theme park and go on rides. That's something I don't do anymore. And I know a lot of people my age, probably don't want to do it anymore, but I can't. It's not a choice I have anymore. So there have been things like, as going into perimenopause, but I've addressed those. Like I used to wake up feeling really old, like having aching joints and things, but that's got better, building up strength in my body and, making sure I nourish myself well with good nutrition and supplements. So yeah, so it's really got a health and well-being focus, but the whole thing around beauty is really interesting because I'm of Indian heritage or origin. Um, my growing up, there is this thing within the Asian community of the shade, what shade you are.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm saying this politically correctly or not. I don't know. I'm just speaking from my
Colorism,
experience.
yeah.
Yeah, colorism. Like it's like what
Mhm.
shade you are, and it's like the lighter you
Mhm.
are,
Yeah.
the better.
Mhm.
And to the point where it was like this whole thing around compliments that it was like, oh, you don't look Indian, you look like Spanish or Italian. And that was a real compliment, like that I
Mm,
don't look Indian,
mm,
that I look like I'm from Europe.
mm. Yeah.
And I think back to that now, I'm like, oh my God, like that's
Yeah.
just
Still happens today. Yeah.
still happens today. My
Yeah.
children are mixed heritage, but their skin color is darker. They
Mm,
look Indian,
mm,
but their dad is Italian. And
mm,
yeah, it's just fascinating. My mind is
mm.
going all
Yeah.
over the place with this at the moment. So I'm just gonna
Yeah,
pause
yeah.
there.
But it's a shame. Now I'm listening to you and reflecting on some of my experiences as well. And I was listening to you, Davina, when you were saying about your hair. I did the same, but the opposite, right? Because I had
Mhm.
really thin hair and I wanted curly hair because I thought, again, it was nice, and different, whatever. So it's interesting
Mm,
how we have these experiences, but it's sad to see how the external environment and what other people think about
mhm.
us and how we look and what we do
Mm,
has such an impact in our lives.
yeah.
And one of the things that I would say at the moment that just comes from what we are talking about, it's the beauty for me of aging is actually stop caring about what other people say.
Mhm.
And that's a big learning journey for me is the older I get, the less I care. I
Mm,
just I'm me, um, and either people like it or don't. Um, and that's fine. And that's the beauty for me more and more of aging is that you don't need to listen to the opinions of others. You can just be yourself and just and that part of really falling in love with yourself, it's the key for me. It's really really powerful and get that wisdom,
Mm.
that knowledge that comes with age. Some
mm,
people actually have it younger, but to me it's coming with age. It's that wisdom, that knowledge, that self-love, that self-care.
mm.
um, it's making the journey a really beautiful one, a beautiful journey.
Well, that's bringing up for me because you two both have older children. So I have the younger ones. So how are you making sure that how I'm thinking about social media. So my kids and your kids obviously now, but they're older, but mine will be literally just growing up in it. And that is what they will be shown as like what beauty is. And I can't save them from it forever. From social media. I wish I could. I honestly I wish I could just not have social media for them because I just think it's damaging. But yeah, what can you do to make sure that kids have, because I feel like we have this view of ourselves now of like not caring and looking inwards and just ourselves because we've done like a lot of work on ourselves. But I guess as kids, they're not doing that yet. Like, how, I guess I'm thinking, how do we save them?
Yeah,
Can we save them?
yeah. I don't think you can. That would be my answer. As much as you try, I don't think you can save them or fix them or um, save them from these experiences, because they will always be there. What I've noticed with Daniel, with my son, is I've tried the best that I could, and it wasn't perfect, of course, is to be an example for him.
Mm.
Um, but he took wherever he
Yeah.
took from it, because not everyone takes the same, right?
Mm.
So he learned from me, from my example, over the years, many things. But he's his own person as well, right? And he still has um, some vulnerabilities. For example, he's now 19, and when he was about 16, he started to get a lot of acne, but really, real severe. Until today, he still has, and he had to do treatments, etc., of acne.
Mm.
And I could see how the fact that he has some marks still affects his confidence.
Mm.
Mm.
And he still says things, oh, when I out of my acne, it's when I will be more beautiful.
Mm.
So it's still there, because the environment, it's there
Mhm.
as well.
Mm.
And as much as we want, and as much as we try to give an example, to teach them, to empower them, to help them being confident, we can't keep them close. So they will always be exposed to the environment, and they
Mm.
will always have those feelings. What I do feel, though, is that if we give them those examples and experiences, they will have more tools than we had to overcome those.
Mm.
And that's what I notice. But there isn't a 100% solution. That's my experience with Daniel.
Mm. You
Yeah, I
too.
mean, I'd agree, like Carla, like all we can do is model, and I think, as I've become more accepting of myself and been very open with them and shared with them, and I have a boy and a girl, and they're both in their teens. One's like nearly 18, one's 13. So that they're at that really tender age,
Mm.
really
Yeah.
tender. And you know, the older one, my son, he has been through stages where he's felt really quite insecure with how he looks, and especially for a boy, like this whole thing around wanting to be strong,
Mm.
what your body looks like, and then face,
Mm.
hair, all of that. And the added thing I have with my children is that they're both neurodiverse, so there's sensory issues as well, and
Mm.
then the way they perceive the world and themselves. So it's been quite a journey. But what I really love about them is that they do self-reflect. They do take the time to actually. It's not been easy. It's definitely not been easy. But we're at a point now where they can have the conversations. It doesn't always happen straight away, but they will self-reflect and get to a point where they can accept where they are or understand the gap and what they would like to do about it. So say for example, you know, there is this modeling aspect, but I also accept with me, I know that with my body, there are times when I'm really happy with it and there are times
Mm.
when I'm not. So I take action. I don't want to beat myself up over it. And I
Mm.
don't want to, what I have had to work really hard on over the years is not um, internalize someone else's view of me or
Mm.
what they say about me and my body and how I look, 'cause that has affected me quite a lot over the years.
Mm.
It's been quite painful and I've had to work really hard with that. And so we do have those conversations at home. And I think it's just the way we do it is just keep the space open to have the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
I can't stop them.
Mm.
I mean, my son's not really into social media, thankfully.
Mm.
My daughter loves YouTube.
Mhm. Mm.
Um, and I do get a bit concerned about what she watches sometimes, but equally I can't monitor her 24/7. But I can't. What I do is take interest in what she's interested in to try and keep the connection. That's the word. It's keep connected to really understand what's going on in their internal world as much as you can, what's influencing them.
Yeah, I think that's it. When you said keeping the space open, just talk about it. So that's the thing. When I was younger, we didn't talk about it. Whereas with my kids, we'd talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, having that, I guess that's a big difference. Is being able to talk about it.
Yeah, having the space, a safe space.
Yeah, the space to talk about it. And also, it might be different in your households, but in mine, my kids see my body as well, and I think that that's really important because, as we were just talking about AI beforehand, like someone put something on Facebook the other day. It was a picture of her, so I thought, and I was like, "That's a really nice picture," and she said, "That's all AI." I was like,
wow.
I'm sorry, what? Honestly, it was just a picture of her sitting in her living room, and I was like, "Gosh, that looks really nice." The whole thing was AI, and I was like, "My God, like." This is just too much. But knowing that, they're growing up in an AI world, I think seeing a real body also is good for them, so they know that what women actually look like.
Yeah, it's real.
It's real.
There's also, mate, we don't want to go into this, but there's porn as well. That's what's real and what's
that's
fake,
a total different topic.
That's a different topic. That's why I'm not going to go there. But it's just let's show a bit of reality. Let's show reality.
Yeah, showing reality. And even things like because of what I do, we talk about birth quite a lot. But they've seen my scar, and then they know where they've come from there. But just actually seeing these kind of things, because this is not what they're going to see on the internet, So I just think just even seeing real bodies, real women, what they look like, is also helpful. The other thing I was gonna, before our time runs out, to throw in there, how do we feel about plastic surgery and Botox and lip fillers and bone implants?
Non-invasive procedures,
all the invasive ones, which I don't know, is a butt implant invasive? I
think Botox is counted as non-invasive, like all those sort of
injection,
light
fillings,
therapy and all that kind of stuff.
Fillers. That's it. Yeah, fillers.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I can share my perspective. Nothing against it, and I respect people that want to do it, and if they want to do it, it's their decisions and their options. For me, my choice, at least until now, I don't know if it will change in the future, but at least until now, is that I won't use it. And more because I'm moving towards a more healthier, organic style in terms of living. So I'm very careful now with everything that I put in my face and my body, internally and externally as well. So in terms of face creams, all those things, makeup, make it more organic as possible and natural. And my decision has been to never. It's something that for me, it doesn't make sense in my case. I feel comfortable the way I am. And I mentioned my mom. I look at my mom and I see that's how I'm going to be. And I'm fine with it. I don't need to change or to eliminate the wrinkles. It's just fine. I can see myself in her and I'm happy with it. So it was a choice. It's a decision. Could change. Who knows? But so far, don't have anything against it, but it's something that I'm not keen at the moment to do.
I think I'm similar. I mean, I know I have friends who use the light mask. I can't remember. I don't even know what they're called and things, or like light therapy and things. But there's normally a reason for that, like there's scarring or something that is affecting them. And I don't really have an opinion on anyone that wants to do any of this. I think it's really about that age-old saying of beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, and going back to the more you fall in love with yourself, then what you see, you love, And for those that are opting to do any of these procedures, that's I really go with your body, your choice. My body, my choice. It's your body, you choose. But very much like Carla, I really care about how I fuel my body, and that's how I also help a lot of my clients. What supplements I put inside my body, what skincare, all of that is 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 what helps me feel good and love the skin I'm in. And that's where I am currently. And again, nothing is static. We're
Yeah.
dynamic human beings. So I don't know, ask me in 5 years, might be a different answer, but that's where I am in this moment.
In you, Divina?
I would ask those that are doing it just why. I don't judge others for doing it, but I just want to know why. Like, what are you after? Like, what are you looking for? Because you might find what you're looking for in changing your diet or exercising more, or is there another reason for it? Because I don't follow these things anymore, but when I would follow like kind of gossip blogs or whatever, there are like women that are going over to different countries and dying from having a butt lift and a stomach thing and but why are you doing this? Like what are you after? What are you looking for? Do you think once you get a smaller waist and a bigger bum, what do you think is going to happen after that? Like what are you looking for? And I would just ask for people to I would just ask someone who was doing it those kind of questions. And if it is just because like I just really want a small waist and a bigger bum, but I know I really love myself and I'm not looking to get anything else from it. It's just for me. Like I think any kind of procedure anyone gets, if it's really just what you want, because that's going to make you feel good or better, like that's fine. But I think some of the, especially younger people that are having these done that I've seen, are doing it for other reasons. Could be running from something, or thinking that if I do this, then maybe he'll love me, or maybe I'll get the guy then, or maybe I'll have the friends then, or like these other reasons. And surgery or looking a certain way isn't going to get you that. And that's the other thing I've seen as well is people that regret it. Like I've seen on TikTok, like women that have had these things done and said, it's the worst thing they've ever done. Like they got it and then looked in the mirror and was like, well, how comes my life hasn't changed? Now that I thought everything was going to change, nothing's changed. I still feel shit. And now I'm just in a lot of pain and a lot of money down, and I still feel like shit. So I think if it's for you, like really genuinely, like I really just want this because it would really increase my confidence and I will just feel good. Okay. But if you're looking for something deeper, you're not going to find it in surgery.
Think twice.
Just think, just really think about it.
Reflect.
Really reflect on it. And also understand that this is, it's like, especially if you're having like the smaller waist and bigger bum and all that, that's like major surgery. These are like, they put you under, it's major surgery. It's not a joke. And same with the fillers. I don't know what's inside them, but you might not know what those things are doing to your body on the inside. So just to think about them. But if it's genuinely for you, but if not,
and I know that there are some non-invasive procedures which are medically recommended for certain things as well. So just taking that into consideration, but understanding the deeper why.
Yeah. Because if it's medical, then that's your reason.
Yeah, exactly.
But if there's another reason.
And do some research as well, right? Having the information, speaking with different doctors, practitioners, wherever you want to do, just have the information you need, be prepared, have the knowledge, because that will help make a more informed decision. Have the reflection, as Divina suggested. Yes, I think those are all important. We could keep talking and talking. Because again, it's a big topic, and I'm sure we'll have other episodes where we will touch base on these topics. Just
Mm.
before we finish, I would want to ask you one tip that you would give to help women age with confidence.
Mm. Something like just do the things that you love a lot.
I love that.
Yeah, that's it.
Do the things that you love a lot. Yes, do the things that gives you joy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say a couple of things that on an emotional and mental level, like do the things that you love, like accept yourself, like love who you are, like fall in love with yourself, like going back to what we said earlier, fall in love with who you are. And then on a practical sense, I would say, there's and this is something I feel very passionately about, is look after your gut health,
Mm.
because the connection from your gut to so many different areas of your health and well-being there's a lot of papers out there, but yeah, start from there, from within, and really take care of yourself, because it affects so many. That's another topic, another podcast for another time. But yeah, the ripple effect is multiple. Yeah. What
And you,
about you,
Carla?
Carla?
Yeah, well, I love just sharing this comment of my friend. We are naturally beautiful. I love it.
Mm. Mhm.
Yes.
I do love it. So for me, what would be the biggest, because there are so many good that you gave already, what would be a tip? Um, I will stick with what you said, Divina, because it's in my mind. It's fall in love with yourself every
Mm.
day.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes we fall out of love of ourselves, and it's to remind ourselves. And that's, for me, the biggest takeaway of today is take care of yourself. And this one is from you, Gita. Health is your wealth. And I do
Mhm.
believe that. Really taking care of ourselves, our health, exercise, the nutrition, the gut, as you mentioned, which is very important. Really think about what you're putting in your gut because it influences everything. Is being in nature, go outside, do the things that you love, as Divina said, and fall in love with yourself every day of your life because you are worth it. We are worth it.
We are.
Mhm. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. And the
Mhm.
topic we are going to talk is about relationships and attachment. We will talk a bit about attachment theory that you might not know about it. So we will make it very simple to understand. The first episode about how we connect with other people, how we build our relationships. And we will have then a second episode to explore a bit further in terms of attachment and attachment theory. So thank you very much for watching us and see you soon. Have a great weekend.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Bye,
Take
everyone.
care. Bye.